Hi, this is Anjal from Taaza Talks on Spotify, and today we are welcoming our guest. Her name is Aarja Bedi, जो एक फिटनेस एक्सपर्ट हैं और साथ ही साथ खूबसूरत तो बहुत है. फिटनेस एक्सपर्ट होंगी तो खूबसूरत तो होंगी ही. सो वेलकम आरजा जी.
Thank you so much.
कैसी हैं आप?
I'm very well, thank you. आप कैसे हो?
मैं बिल्कुल बढ़िया हूँ. मैंने आपका एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन तो दिया है, पर मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप सेल्फ इंट्रोडक्शन हमारे व्यूअर्स को दीजिए.
Sure. I'm Aarja Bedi and I am a certified fitness trainer and a nutritionist. I've been in this line for about 3.5 years now, and my journey started, however cliche sounds, it started with my own fitness journey, and that's what got me into the fitness space. And now I'm currently doing this as a full time profession. I also have my own activewear line by the name of BU Fitness, which is proper activewear for women to, feel comfortable and confident while they work out.
Okay, sounds good. Wonderful. So, Arja, what inspired you to pursue a career in fitness?
Okay. Honestly, like I just said, what made me pivot is my own journey that inspired me, I think. So I was never a fit kid. I was into sports when I was in school, and I think everyone as a kid is into some sport or the other. So back in school, I used to do karate. I was a black belt and I practiced for 8 years. I captained my high school team, but that was about it. I was still a pretty chubby, plump kid. And then I went to study to Australia for my bachelor's degree. And that's when, I think all of us also mature a little bit. You travel, you see the world around you, you get better exposure.
Exactly.
And my university gym had like probably the best fitness facilities. It did have the best fitness gym in Sydney, and people from all over the city would come to, the Macquarie gym. So because of that, that's where I started going, and I started going for a lot of classes because I was a complete newbie. I didn't know what to do. We had a lot of facilities for attending group classes, so I would do a lot of boxing classes, just cardio based classes and stuff like that. Then I progressed going to the gym. I started doing cardio. I tried my hands on the weight section and everything. So I did whatever, came in front of my eyes, tried it. But it was predominantly the classes that I would attend that gradually just, got my interest into the sphere of teaching, I think. And it was honestly, it was like a one fine day click that happens. When they say you find your calling, you find your calling. And it was a very random day. I was attending a class, and I was always that kid who wanted to be in the first row of attending a class. And one day I was just like working out. It was a boxing class, and I saw the two instructors. They were two ladies, and I just saw them on the stage. They had like, the widest smile, all the energy. They were having a lot of fun teaching, and everyone in the room was having fun doing their workouts. And I just said to myself, I was like, you know what? This is what I see myself doing in the long run. And I think that's when I got the thought into my head. And then also when I started seeing like, changes within myself, not just physically, of course, yes, I'm not going to deny that, but more so like mentally, I was feeling more energetic, more alert, happier. And when those things started falling into place, I realized how much of an impact physical health has on our overall, mental health and well-being and stuff as well. And that's what I wanted to help people achieve, because I just realized that it's just that one little thing that you have to do during the day, and it can be anything, like any form of physical activity that you enjoy. But if you can manage to do that at any point, for say 3-4 days a week, it's an absolute game changer. And when I played the test model on myself, like I was the person, I was doing all the trial and error methods. Once I started seeing the changes, is when I actually genuinely wanted to share that with other people and make them just realize that, you know, this is what we're neglecting. And another aspect of it was being in Australia, everyone was very, into fitness. That country is very fitness oriented. But when I came back to India, I saw a big gap. People were fit, but it was very, like a very small portion of the population was into fitness, A, or B, even like aware of the benefits or how to exercise and things like that. So it was just like an amalgamation of all those things. But I think to answer the question in a sentence, it was A, the classes that I did that put me, that like at least introduced me to the concept of it. I think otherwise I wouldn't have known, what it feels like to attend a class and how it can make a difference. And then B was like my own journey from, being probably not fit to being fit, and then me wanting to help others. And I started putting that into play, professionally, maybe I think a year and a half or two after I moved back to India from after my degree.
Okay. Wow. So, what type of exercises do you enjoy the most?
Ooh, do I enjoy the most? Honestly, I enjoy any and all forms of exercise. What I probably don't enjoy the most, I'll say first, I think is yoga. Probably because I'm not the best at it. But again, I do like going for like a one-off class. But what I enjoy the most is a good combination of strength and endurance work. Like I love lifting heavy, and I do lift like 3-4 days a week minimum. And I also do absolutely love like high energy cardio, like the endorphin rush and like the serotonin I get after that. It's the best feeling. So of course I work out according to my goals as well. But for me, I need to make sure that, my routine has a combination of both. It has to have strength work. It has to have a little bit of conditioning, endurance and stuff. So I like going for runs as well. I would do like a 5 kilometer or a 10 kilometer at least twice a week. I love boxing. Absolutely love boxing. Try to do that once a week. But yeah, honestly, I enjoy any type of physical activity. It just like is my thing. So I keep going and experimenting things. But to give like a category of what I like, I think it'll come more under like the CrossFit name, because it's a good combination of, heavy lifting and medium to high intensity, cardio endurance work.
ओके. तो आप आजा अपने आप को एज इन, अगर मैं डेली रूटीन की बात करूं तो आप अपने आप को कितना टाइम देती हैं?
Like to work out on like for myself.
फॉर योरसेल्फ.
So typically I like to take out at least an hour and a half
Okay.
for my own workouts. Majority of my day obviously is spent coaching others, but I don't consider that as working out, because there I am helping other people, so I'm watching them and guiding them through working out. But I personally work out for say about an hour and a half. Of course, there are days you don't get that much time, so 1.5 hours is a push, but 1 hour minimum I will set aside for myself, whatever may happen.
ओके. सो आप सेशंस लेती हैं ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन दोनों के, सिर्फ ऑनलाइन करती हैं?
हाँ जी, so I do online and offline. अभी के लिए I've been doing more of online. I think it just works better for everyone, like the client and me. And COVID के बाद everyone's become very comfortable with, online as well. It saves you time. It's convenient. घर से बहुत अच्छा workout हो सकता है. I personally saw like great changes, with my body, and this is something that I didn't believe myself. But COVID hua, it hit all of us. Sadly we were locked up in our houses, and you had to do what you had to do sitting at home. And that's when I also, believe that home workouts are amazing. So as of now, I would say 90% मैं online सिखाती हूँ. I do offline workshops basically. तो अगर 1-day workshops, 2-day workshops, or like, something outstation, then it becomes offline obviously. And I absolutely love the offline model as well. Like if I have an opportunity, I would definitely go back to, say 50% offline, 50% online. It's a different feeling interacting with someone physically and working out with them. But you also have to see, I think, convenience, time management. And in those spheres, online has been working great. And secondly, a lot of my clientele is actually overseas as well. तो उनके लिए obviously online सबसे अच्छा है, और मतलब और
Exactly.
कोई option ही नहीं है obviously.
Yeah.
तो yeah, I end up doing more online sessions.
ओके, तो कौन कौन से फॉर्म्स होते हैं? जैसे आजकल अगर मैं नाउ डेज वी आर देख रहे हैं, हमको पता चल रहा है जैसे कि योगा में बहुत ज़्यादा लोग इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं, तो आपके हिसाब से योगा ज़्यादा सही रहता है या जिम ज़्यादा सही रहता है? जैसे जिम के बारे में सुनने में आता है कि अगर आप उसको बीच में छोड़ देते हो तो आपका वेट वापस पुट ऑन हो जाता है, तो ये थोड़ा सा आप हमारे व्यूअर्स को बताइए कि क्या डिफरेंशिएट, क्या कैसे करेंगे इसको?
Okay, so पहले तो I will just say neither is better than the other. हर form of exercise के अपने benefits होते हैं, ठीक है? Yoga is obviously very good. It's for body weight. It helps you build your strength with just your body weight, right? It's
Okay.
very good for flexibility, very good for mobility, breathing work. It's more, I would say, it's less strenuous. As opposed to say going to a gym you end up focusing more on building strength. Right? लोगों को muscle और बढ़ाना है, then you're going to the gym. So what is more important is, I think, two things. One is, what is your goal fitness wise? Is it just general fitness, or are you working towards a goal? For example, we all see bodybuilding competitions and stuff होती है, right?
जी.
So to achieve that look that people have on the stage, you have to go to the gym. वो योगा करने से नहीं होएगा, मतलब नहीं हो सकता, फुल स्टॉप. सो अगर वो किसी का गोल है तो उनको जिम जाना है. बट अगर आपका गोल कुछ और है, मे बी आपका गोल है कि मुझे सिर्फ स्टैमिना बढ़ाना है, इंड्योरेंस पे काम करना है, then someone might follow a program which is more focused on cardiovascular types of exercises. So you start working with like maybe a running coach if you like running. Then they'll teach you how to build your stamina. पहले आपको 1 किलोमीटर भगाएंगे, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, then you'll work on speed. So firstly, it depends on what your goal is, what you're working towards. And secondly, which I think is the most important thing for the general population like all of us, it doesn't matter what form of exercise you do. What's more important is you find the mode of exercise that you enjoy doing. Because the bottom line is you have to be consistent, or more like you should be consistent. And the only way you'll be consistent is if you're enjoying what you're doing. अगर आपको मजा आ रहा है तो फिर आपको और करने का मन करेगा. अगर आपने आज मेरे साथ एक सेशन कर लिया और आपको मजा आया, तो फिर आप मुझे मैसेज करके बोलोगे ना, मुझे मजा आया, आई वांट टू डू अनदर क्लास.
Exactly.
Right? But if you don't like it, then you won't do it, and then that's game over. So more importantly, I would say there is no point ranking this is the best, this is the worst, because that is to do with your goals. The best form of exercise is the form of exercise you enjoy and you can stay consistent with. Recommendations wise, I would definitely say though to any and everyone, strength training is something that you should incorporate into your routines. It has only benefits and no cons. And as we grow older, it's more important to strengthen your muscles for just overall well-being and longevity. And that's something people don't focus on. And I can give enough examples from like literally my own family, like my parents and grandparents. पहले के ज़माने में, I think people weren't as well aware or educated about these things, but now even strength training, there are so many good strength coaches, so they educate you and tell you about the importance. So I definitely think to some level you should include some form of strength training into your routines. And again, that can also be with body weight stuff. Like calisthenics is a great form of strength work. You're still working with your body weight. Like I'm a trainer, I'm probably one of the worst with calisthenics work, so I haven't focused on it. But tons of benefits. Point being, that's one thing I think everyone should do. Again, ये नहीं कि आपको हफ्ते में 5 बार करना है, 2 बार भी कर लो, more than enough. Maybe you combine it with 2 दिन strength कर लिया, एक दिन आप से walk या jog के लिए चले गए, एक दिन आप कोई yoga या stretching type कर लो. So it's a good balance of everything. Like that's what I would recommend to people for like just general fitness and well-being.
ओके, सो एज एन न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट आप जैसे डाइट्स वगैरह ये सब भी रिकमेंड करती हैं आपके
हाँ
हिसाब
जी।
से? क्या बेस्ट रहता है जिनको वेट लूज करना है? तो ऐसे मैं अगर आपसे पूछूं कि कौन से स्नैक्स ठीक रहेंगे, खाने में क्या रहना चाहिए, तो वो थोड़ा सा हमें बताइए.
Okay, so again, this is a topic which a lot of हमने बहुत information पढ़ा होगा, देखा होगा about the perfect diet, or if you want to lose weight, eat this, or like you said, क्या snacks होते हैं,
हाँ.
right? But to take it one level back to the question, I'll answer it by saying it's such a personal, like nutrition is such a personal thing that I am no one, and I don't even want to give advice like like I don't want to give a one size fits all policy, because how many ever people are listening to us right now, different body types, different ages, different goals, different say medical conditions, everything is different. No two human bodies are exactly the same,
Exactly,
right?
right.
So even with your nutrition, it's very tailor made to you. Of course, basics stay the same, I'm not going to deny that, but you always have to eat according to your body, your requirements. Say I work out 2 hours a day, or I'm very physically active, I will need to eat more to fuel my body and get energy, right? So वो अलग हो जाता है मेरे लिए as compared to someone else who might be you know at working in an office, and by default they're sitting for longer hours. So there are big differences, I think, with nutrition. So I always take it a step back, and I don't like to give just unsolicited advice on nutrition. I always would say, consult me, hit up another nutritionist, talk about your goals, talk about your medical conditions. There are so many people who have some medical conditions, and that's a very important role with nutrition. And again, as you go older, like my nani lives with us at home, she has a lot of medicines, and in order to have those medicines, and ताकि वो medicines आपकी body में काम भी करे, आपको थोड़ा minimum तो खाना खाना ही पड़ेगा ना.
जी.
तो अगर मैं आपको ये बोल दूं कि ये मत खाओ और ये खाओ, you might be doing it and it might actually do more harm than good to you. So I don't think that's the best approach to nutrition. But if we have to give a one size fit all policy for losing weight, which is the only policy, of course that's going to be you need to eat lesser than you're burning, or you have to burn more calories than you're eating, which is like the phrase that you have to be in a calorie deficit. That's the only way you lose weight. आप जो भी कर लो, अगर you're not eating lesser than you're burning, you will not be able to lose the weight.
मतलब you
And
mean
I
to
think
say,
another tip,
yeah, you mean to say सब customized रहता है.
I mean, to a great extent it has to be customized,
Yeah.
and that's the only way it will be healthy and sustainable. Like so many people follow these crash diets, and like tell me one person who's done a crash diet. Of course they must have lost for example 10 kgs in 1 month, but in the second month they're going to put on 10 kgs and maybe more, because they've done so much harm to their body in that 1 month. वो it's a typical like say Indian mentality. शादी आ रही है, मुझे weight lose करना है, खाना नहीं खाया, पतले तो हो गए, शादी सीजन के बाद आप फिर 20 kg आपने बढ़ा लिया. So how did it help you? Not at all. Actually, it's done you more harm.
हाँ.
Right. So it has to be a customized approach. But if someone wants very general nutrition advice, I can just sum it up by saying that a couple of basic things. Just ensure when you're structuring a plate like a meal, you should have a little portion of everything. So carbs, proteins and fats. That's very important. I don't think it's healthy to neglect any one food portion. You should have a good balance between all of them. Secondly, like I said, never a healthy choice or decision to cut out food groups. It'll again do you more harm than good. And I think when people cut out food groups, that you say, okay, I'm not going to eat say burgers or pizza or carbs or whatever, that's when you want to eat it more, right? Because आपको पता है, आपके दिमाग में बैठा है कि मैं ये नहीं खाऊंगी, but फिर तभी आपका दिमाग बोलेगा मुझे वही खाना है, because आपने इतना pressure डाला है. So the moment you put pressure is when your body asks for it more. So I personally go by the rule of 80-20 nutrition, that 80% of your food should be from whole foods, 20% can be whatever you enjoy eating, and then
जैसे मैं अगर आपसे पूछूं तो व्हाट इज़ योर आपके कौन से हेल्दी स्नैक्स आपके फेवरेट हैं, और जैसे हमारी बात चल रही थी कि कस्टमाइज होता है सब कुछ,
हाँ जी।
डिपेंड्स अपॉन द बॉडी एंड जिसका भी जैसे भी जो मेडिकल कंडीशंस होते हैं उसके हिसाब से कैसे क्या क्या रहता है। तो आपके, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, क्योंकि आप इतनी फिट हैं, ऑब्वियसली फिट होंगी जब आप दिख ही रही हैं, इतना वर्क कर रही हैं अपने ऊपर और लोगों को हेल्प कर रही हैं, तो आपके कौन से, आप किस तरह से अपने डाइट को मेंटेन करती हैं? आपकी डाइट में अगर मैं चाहूँ, मतलब मेरे व्यूअर्स पूछना चाहें तो क्या क्या उसमें होता है, ऐड ऑन होता है?
Okay, so I'll give a quick rundown of my diet, I guess. But like I was saying previously, I tell people, like, I kind of preach what I teach. So my approach with nutrition is 80-20 rule, which is 80% whole foods and 20%, whatever you enjoy eating. You give yourself that window. Because अगर आप moderation में अपने आप को allow करते हो खाना जो आपको पसंद भी है, you don't end up binging, right? And that's like a big problem when it comes to trying to lose weight and stuff as well. So my diet, I basically try to follow like a high protein diet, but again I eat absolutely anything and everything that I enjoy eating. Personally, I am lactose intolerant and gluten resistant, so those are two things I absolutely avoid. But if we go through a rundown of my day, my breakfast is usually, 2 eggs with a toast or some sauce of carbs. So I'll do like either eggs with dosa, because I love dosa since I moved to Bangalore. Or, before that I would do eggs and toast. But that's basically my breakfast. And then around the afternoon, I like to have, 1 cup of black coffee, and I'll have some fruit, whatever seasonal fruit, because I love fruit as well. I personally don't do more than 1 cup of coffee, only because I used to be a coffee addict back in college, and that also wasn't very good for health. I used to have some 4-5 cups a day, and I saw my fair share of trouble with that. So now I have only 1 cup, and that's more than enough for me. It's sufficient to like power through the day. My lunch is pretty much the same every day, and it's been that for like years. So I do dal chawal with whatever sabji is made at home or I get made. I'm not a fussy eater with sabjis. I actually like all sabjis except karela. That's the only thing I don't eat.
Okay.
So it's, dal, chawal, sabji. And again, I'll try to get in a source of protein. So it's either tempeh, or I'll do like chicken or fish or whatever. But that's not very common during lunch. I don't end up eating too much non-veg during lunch, only because lunchtime, it's right in the middle of the day for me. There's so much work going on. But dal chawal sabji is a staple. Then sham ko is when I have my protein shake. That's also like a non-negotiable. Around 5:30, 6, between the 5:30 to 6:30 window, I have a protein shake. I like to like top it up with a little granola again because I like it. So मैं थोड़ा सा उसमें add करके I have it, and it becomes like a nice dessert. And then my dinner is again more high protein. So dinner every day is some form of chicken with some form of veggies again. So dinner is not Indian for me mostly ever. So my lunch is more Indian flavors. My dinner is more like Asian, continental, or whatever else. Like I like doing that, and I like experimenting with food as well. Like I'm a big foodie, so I will eat anything and everything. I allow myself to eat out like whenever I want to. But again, like I said, I am someone who consciously does try to make healthier choices when I have to. So yeah, I'll have some form of, either chicken in soy sauce, chicken marinated in wine with, stir fry veggies with like broccoli, zucchini, carrots, matar, beans, everything. And depends, for my carb source, it's usually like quinoa. But yeah, I've recently like really been enjoying quinoa, also because like I said, I've become gluten resistant, so there's very few options left for me. But yeah, my dinner has to be like, a substantial portion of some form of meat, and I enjoy eating meat. And I mean, of course, truth be told, I have the biggest sweet tooth, so meetha for me is a must. I think my top favorites would probably be like cookies and brownies, but also like I'm a, what do you say? Let's put it like back in the day, OG kid lover. And my two favorite chocolates still today are, I think, Kit Kat and Munch. So maybe after dinner I'll have like a small Kit Kat or like a one stick of a Munch or Kit Kat, whatever. I mean, any form of dessert, I allow myself to have it. But again, like I was explaining with the nutrition perspective, it all comes down to portion control. So yes, I eat those things pretty much on a daily, but I will just control my portions.
Okay. Wow. So, what is one fitness myth you wish would go away?
Oh wow, one. I feel like there are so many that I wish would go away. Um, I think a big one which people can also relate to would be that strength training will make you bulky. And that's one myth, I think especially ladies, like women have that in their head that if we go to the gym and start lifting, we'll look manly or we'll become bulky. That's like,
Yeah.
yeah, so that can't happen. It doesn't happen. I'm someone who can like deadlift 90 kilos. I'm not bulky at
Oh,
all. I still look like a kid, I think.
yes.
But but yeah, so I think that's one big myth I would want to go away, because I want people to strength train. I want them to understand the benefits. And especially when it comes to women, our bodies aren't built in a way that we can bulk up. Like, I don't want to get into the science because it'll just bore people, but we don't have the same amount of like testosterone to get you that bulky. So unless you're taking steroids and stuff like that, that's the only way you can actually get bulky. Otherwise, you're just going to get strong as hell, which is something you should want to get as like overall. But yeah, I think that's the first and biggest myth that I would want to completely erase away.
Wow. Sounds good. Yeah. So, how do you handle clients who lack motivation?
Who lack motivation. Okay, honestly, it comes down to, I think, when I was answering your first question or second question about, types of exercises and stuff. So when it comes to lack of motivation, I take people, like, I obviously walk them through benefits of exercising and stuff like that. And I like to understand what is it that they enjoy doing, right? Because if they're anyway not motivated to exercise, they're doing something out of their comfort zone, they're pushing themselves, correct? So
Correct.
I like to find ways and reach a middle ground in a way that what I'm making the other person do, unko maza bhi aa raha hai, so that they can stay consistent. And because they're consistent and because they're enjoying it, they are motivated. Because they're enjoying it, they get motivated to do more and more, because they also do know the benefits of exercise. I don't think there's anyone who is unaware of the benefits. सबको पता है कि basic exercise तो करनी होती है. Even like a 90-year-old grandmother knows कि मुझे basic exercise करनी होती है. What her body allows her to do might be different, but उनको भी पता है, मतलब वो they'll try कि चलो घर के अंदर ही walk कर लेते हैं या कुछ कर लेते हैं. Everyone knows the benefits, right? So when it comes to motivation, if you have to motivate yourself, you have to find something that you will enjoy doing. So even with my clients, I try to find a middle ground on, okay, these are your goals, this is what we need to be doing. It might not be the perfect match as of now, but we will walk together to find a way and reach a point where you enjoy doing it. So I try to again make it a very personalized experience. And again, I keep them very accountable. Like all my clients, I check in with them at least once a week minimum. But like I'll throw them a WhatsApp here and there, like, hi, how are you doing? How was your session? So they also feel like they're accountable to me. And because they're accountable now, wo motivation aa jati hai. And I also try to reach a stage eventually where you're not seeking motivation. Like with me, that's my goal when I train someone. I want some form of physical activity and fitness to be part of your routine. So it's more, which again, it's not there for everyone, and that's completely okay. But being in the field and being someone who's guiding XYZ, that is a level I want people to reach, where you're not solely relying on motivation or willpower. It's something that you're auto tuned with, कि आपको चलो अगर एक दिन मिस हो गया, इट्स फाइन, एवरीवन हैज गुड एंड बैड डेज, बट आपको पता है मुझे हफ्ते में 3-4 बार तो जाके एक्सरसाइज करना ही है. सो देन यू डोंट रिलाई ऑन मोटिवेशन, बट दैट्स लाइक that's part of, I would say, the journey. If you're working with me, that we reach a stage where this is it. आप करोगे, जब करोगे, टाइम निकालोगे, then that's up to you. But आप कर सकते हो. But to even reach that stage and with motivation, it always starts off by, I think, me and them collaboratively working and finding what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy as well. And I will, remove that. Like, I have clients who say, I absolutely hate cardio, or I absolutely hate burpees. Okay, that's a very common thing. So I will not put burpees into their, workout routine for the starting. Once I see them getting consistent with their workouts and, enjoying their workouts, once they say, oh, we're starting to see results, then once in a week, I'll just throw in, like, today your routine includes, say, 7, 8, 10 burpees. Then they don't mind doing it, because वो ठीक है यार, एक बार करना होगा. So these are all gradual steps and gradual wins. But motivation starts off by, it has to be a collaborative approach, and it has to be something that you enjoy and you see benefits coming. Because someone who doesn't have motivation, they're only doing it for the goal, कि मुझे पतला होना है या मुझे ये होना है. And once they start doing that, once they start seeing that, they automatically build up the motivation.
Okay. So, what is the most rewarding part of being a fitness expert?
Most rewarding part? I think honestly, a lot of things about being in this profession are rewarding. I mean, a lot of things are rewarding, and I think every client interaction, every client win is rewarding in its own way. And just, I think, seeing people happier, seeing people make that shift and being consistent with it is, super rewarding. I wouldn't, like, for me, if a client messages me saying, oh yeah, I finally lost like 2 kilos, or I'm finally not binging at night, of course that makes me happy, because that's a win. But I think it's the actual, that work that went into reaching that goal, that is my happy moment. That आपने इतना काम किया, आपने एफर्ट डाला, आपने कंसिस्टेंटली जो मैंने आपको बोला आपने वो फॉलो किया, एंड once I see people doing those steps, that is like the biggest highlight for me.
Okay. So, आरजा, एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है कि आजकल प्रेगनेंसी में भी होता है, एक्सरसाइजेज होती हैं, योगा कराते हैं, तो आप वो भी कराती हैं?
हाँ जी. As of now, I don't, because I'm not certified to do prenatal, postnatal. But that is something I'm actually studying to do. So I think it's on the 2024 list of things that I want to launch with my programs. Definitely prenatal, postnatal is one of them.
Okay, fine. And अगर कोई आपसे चाहता है कि ठीक है मुझे एक्सरसाइज नहीं करना है, जस्ट वांट कि मुझे डाइट प्लान दे दीजिए, तो वो भी आप करती हैं?
हाँ जी. So I do separately as well. I do
separately, yeah.
I have different types and offerings even with my training, like different levels and modules that I offer, like service wise. And then nutrition also, I do just diet plans. And of course, I think when people come to me, I would say 70-75% end up combining the two, because fitness and nutrition go hand in hand.
Yes.
But some people might be already very sought out with their nutrition, or very sought out with, say, their exercise, and they need help with either or. So then they can opt for a single plan also, like whichever one they're looking for. Otherwise, I have combined packages as well.
Okay. So, जैसे वेजिटेरियन हैं, नॉन वेजिटेरियंस हैं, वीगन्स हैं, तो सबके अलग अलग पैकेजेस हैं आपके पास?
Yeah, so again, like I said, nutrition is tailor-made, right? Once we connect with each other, we hop on our first, consulting call. I like to understand what the person, like what level are they at right now, like what's their scenario, what is their goal, and especially with nutrition, I try not to, or not even try, I never make a diet plan which completely changes their routine. Because again, you're putting someone out of their comfort zone so much कि वो करेंगे ही नहीं.
हाँ
एक
हाँ
हफ्ता कर लेंगे maximum, but फिर वो नहीं करेंगे.
जी
Right. So the way I work with my nutrition consulting clients is after we've spoken about our goals and current levels and stuff like that, for one day I actually tell them to send me photos or references of what their current full day of eating looks like, right? क्योंकि वो अब see, all of us have our households running, you're living with someone or the other. अब घर पे जो बन रहा है सबके लिए अलग अलग खाना तो नहीं बनेगा. Let's be very realistic, right? It's hard for everyone. So what I try to do is I try to just make amendments into your current routine, because it's not always that hard. If your goal is, say fat loss, weight loss, like I said, you have to be eating lesser than you're burning. If your goal is to put on muscle, you need to be eating a little more. Of course, then the focus will be on protein. So I always work around जो आपका routine है. I will say give additions to it. If I have to subtract, I always just subtract quantity. Like I said, I never subtracted an entire food group for anyone. And my long-term goal with nutrition is always I teach people how to eat a balanced meal. Like I never want someone to be working with me for nutrition for say 6-8 months. There's no need. I mean, of course, if you want to, please go ahead. I would love that. But it's such a simple, straightforward thing that once you get the grasp of it, ना आप वो अपने आप कर सकते हो. It's not very hard to navigate through your nutrition. It's just that आपको पहले वो basic understanding होनी चाहिए. So I teach people through my consulting कि this is what a balanced plate looks like for you. This is how much protein you should be eating, carbs you should be eating, fats you should be eating. These are good sources. These are things you can eat lesser of. So it's always a very personalized and interactive approach I have with nutrition, and I like to center it around what the person is already doing and what the person likes doing. So like with all my clients, one big question that I end every consulting call is with, everyone likes going out. I like to include meals that जब आप बाहर जा रहे हो, रेस्टोरेंट में जा रहे हो, खाना खाओगे. I don't want to be that person कि नहीं आप पहले से खाना खा के जाओ और फिर बाहर कुछ मत खाना. Or people enjoy having a glass or two of wine outside or whatever drink you like. So that's always included in your plan, because let's be realistic, that's our lives. We all socialize. We all like going out. So that's what I'm saying. My way of working is very day-to-day realistic, and we just try to make it as balanced and healthy as possible so that that's what you stick to in the long run. You don't need to keep changing it, because once it's part of your habit, you're fine, right? You're set. आपको समझ आ गया, आपको ऐसे खाना इतना allowed है, इतना नहीं करना चाहिए. एक बार आपने वो सीख लिया, then you're good to go यार on your own.
Okay, wonderful. So आजा, आपके जो सेशंस रहते हैं उसकी क्या ड्यूरेशंस रहती हैं? लाइक 1 आवर्स के लिए रहता है या हाफ एन आवर के लिए करती हैं आप, या ऑल्टरनेट डेज पे करती हैं? ये सब बताइए हमारे व्यूअर्स को.
हाँ जी. So with my training, there's a couple of models, like I said. So if we're doing like a one-on-one personal session, it goes on for about 1 hour, I would say, and that includes like your warm-up, cool-down, main chunk of the workout. But maximum time is 1 hour. Obviously, थोड़ा पहले भी खत्म हो जाता है. About 45-50 minutes is the duration. But बीच में थोड़ा बात कर लिया, rest time, everything inclusive, my sessions are never over an hour. And then even if I also do personalized programming. That's like the second type of service I offer, where we're not working out live, but I will make your training plan according to your goals, and I'll send that to you, and that can be done at the gym or at home. So all my programs are home friendly and gym friendly. Even those, again, because it's personalized, the first question I ask the client is आपके पास कितना time है? So it'll be according to the amount of time they have available, of course, but I would say 90% of people have about say 1 hour. Everyone's either going to work or there's other things to do. So again, 1.5 hours if you're in the gym. And then my last type of service, which is like the top selling, is I have a lot of on-demand workout programs and courses that I sell through my website. So those are probably like the best in nature to get you started, or even if you're like intermediate level. I personally follow my own workouts a lot of the time. So they are full interactive workouts, they're full follow along in nature. So they're available on demand. Once you purchase the program, आपको सारी recordings मिल जाएंगी. And it's a lot of fun because I'm actually doing the entire workout with you on the screen, so you don't feel like वो बस बैठी है और बोल रही है. I'm actually doing it, so it feels like आप साथ में किसी के साथ exercise कर रहे हो. And I've made like an entire roadmap for someone. So I have programs for absolute beginners to intermediate. So it's like a program on how to just get into exercising. So I go through just the basics. Then there's another program on building up stamina and endurance. Then my third program is getting into strength training, because as a coach, I specialize in strength training. Like I said so many times, the importance of strength training, that's one niche that I want to focus on. So another program dwells into the form and correction and stuff like that. And then I have subsequent programs to just take you to the next level and next level and next level. So I've made an entire roadmap. All those are basically 45-minute workouts, and they actually only require a pair of dumbbells. So what made me even make these was, again, kudos COVID, where we didn't have access to a lot of things. And dumbbells are pretty versatile. अगर आप छुट्टी पे भी जा रहे हो, कहीं ना कहीं तो होएंगे. नहीं है तो आप water bottles use कर लो. It's not that hard, but you can get like the best results that you want using just a pair of dumbbells as well. And they're super time efficient. For me, that was like the key. If you have to go to work or you're coming back late, traffic, n number of reasons, you just have to switch the screen and you can follow along, and at least you are still getting in your quota of exercise. So yeah, those are like the 3 types of offerings I have.
Okay. So, how do you stay up to date with the latest fitness trends and research?
Oh, okay. Honestly, because I'm passionate about, the health and fitness space in general, I do keep reading a lot about it. Like every day I'm reading some article or the other. And I think there's also so many myths around so many topics in this field. Like I'm sure everyone will agree, be it training, be it nutrition. And there are enough, very, very well-renowned, professors and trainers out there who publish articles. So, like I said, because I think I love the line and the space, I keep myself up to date just by reading articles from somewhere or the other. And I am certified from a medical council, like for my training and nutrition. They're 2 separate like agencies and organizations or schools, whatever you want to call it, that I was certified with. One is ACE and one is NASM. So because they are like the best for what they do in the world, fitness and nutrition wise. They're one of the top certifications. So once you're part of that organization, they also give us a lot of data and papers and readings to do. So with that, by default, you end up reading. But otherwise, I think it's more like curiosity and enjoyment. Like I just love to know what is someone thinking or what's someone's take on something, and then I'll dwell into it. I'll probably read some like proper research paper that's science backed to get my own knowledge correct.
Okay. So, आरजा जी, मैं अब ये चाहूँगी कि आप अपने सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स और आपका, अगर आप नंबर शेयर करना चाहती हैं तो यहाँ पर आप अपना थोड़ा सा अपने हैंडल्स को थोड़ा शेयर कर दीजिए, सो दैट हमारे व्यूअर्स आपको डायरेक्टली अप्रोच कर सकें.
Sure. So on Instagram, I go by the handle Fit with Abby, and it's spelled with FITWITHAABI. And I also have my own website, like I said at the start, which is for my activewear line that I have for women. So it's all what I've done, the ground up work on my own, like from procuring the fabric to designing, getting it stitched at the factories. मैंने सब कुछ entire process खुद करा था, because I was very particular about what I want out in the market. So I do have a website as well. It's by the name of bufitness.in, just the letters BU and fitness.in. And I also have my own app where all my programs are listed. Like I said, the several on-demand follow-along programs that we have. So that is all accessible if you download my app. On Google Play Store, it is just by the name of BU Fitness as well. And someone downloading it on Apple, I'll have to send a link. So like I said, I've dropped my Instagram handle. You can reach out to me. But
डेफिनेटली आपके पॉडकास्ट पे हम शेयर कर देंगे सारे लिंक्स. फिर भी मैं चाहती थी कि आप बता दें, तो दैट विल बी मोर अप्रोप्रिएट.
Everything is linked. You can access the clothing front from the app. You can consult me one-on-one as well through the app. So we can put a link to the app, and people can. It'll also have my number mentioned in there. So if you select to chat with me one-on-one, that's also a possibility.
Sure.
And yeah, so we're very active on the app. That's where I try to share my 2 cents on some topic, pick some myths, share some facts. So yeah, we just make it, it's just like a nice community of spreading knowledge and sharing our experiences with exercising or whatever.
तो बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे आर्जा जी आपसे आज कॉन्वर्जेशन में, और बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा लगा. हमारे व्यूअर्स को भी बहुत पसंद आएगा, मुझे बिल्कुल उम्मीद है और पूरी होप है कि मैं खुद चाहती हूँ कि हम इसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रमोट करेंगे. सो व्यूअर्स, ये थी हमारे बीच में आज आर्जा बेदी जी. तो प्लीज़ इनके इंटरव्यू को लाइक कीजिएगा, शेयर कीजिएगा एंड कमेंट्स कीजिएगा, और ज़रूर देखिएगा. इसके लिए इससे ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल आपको कुछ नहीं मिल सकता. थैंक यू वेरी मच आर्जा जी.